And we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to What You Need to Know live on Facebook and YouTube. It is Thursday. That means it is George Wallace Day. And George has brought us an incredible guest, a man that we all know and love, admire so greatly. And it is the one and only actor, director, poet, humanitarian, philanthropist. I can keep coming up with more superlatives, but it is the one and only Bill Duke, also known as William Henry Duke Jr. Hello, Bill Duke. How are you?
Henry.
God bless you. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Henry, you know, that's my name also, Henry. Did you know that, Bill Duke?
Oh, George Henry Wallace?
Actually, just Henry.
He added the George Wallace.
Actually, just Henry. But this is Sybil, I'm so proud to be here today because, you know, last week I said I wouldn't talk because the lady knew everything. But this man here has done more than all of us put together. Isn't that amazing? We've never had anybody that's done more, produced, directed, humanitarian. He's a mentor, and he's still working with college universities and still acting and still doing everything. And I saw him on, was it Black Lightning? Did I see you on a?
Yes, sir. Yes,
oh my God, were you great in that?
Yeah.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it, man. I'm glad to still be working, man. I never want to retire.
Well, you can't retire when you don't do anything. When you don't do anything, you can't retire.
That's right. That's right.
If it's not working, huh? Okay. Bill Duke, you are really the heart and soul of our culture in a lot of ways. I think the things that you have given us over now we're talking, 50 years in the business?
50 years? No way.
At least 40 years. At least 40.
Okay. Well, I'll go with 40. I was thinking back to, because if I'm not mistaken, you were on Broadway, like was it the 70s?
Yes, Ain't Supposed to Die a Natural Death. Melvin
Van Peebles.
I saw you in that.
And Gilbert Moses directed it.
Wow.
Oh you know all of those writers and directors.
Yeah.
Did you know Charles, you did a movie, I did a movie with you called Raging Harlem. Charles, what was his name? What was his name that wrote that book? You don't even remember he directed a movie, Sybil, called A Rage in Harlem.
Oh, no. Oh, we do remember, George. As a matter of fact, let's go to that right now.
No way.
Yeah. Why did the trunk go? Maybe the gal's trunk was full of her panties. Was it again? Maybe it wasn't.
Well, maybe it was, and maybe it wasn't. But somebody don't come up with my $175.95 my stove. I'm going to raise some hell. You hear me? I'm really going to raise hell.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that?
Oh, that's Jesus.
I know that's Jesus. I mean the other guy.
That's his mom.
Jesus. Damn. Thank you, man.
Sybil, what'd you get? Oh my God, Sybil, Bill.
George, if I'm not mistaken, your character's name was Gravedigger.
That's right.
Great, exactly. Bill put me in that movie. That movie was so much fun to do. And the first day of shooting, Sybil, I was in the scene. And when the first day you go like, well, what am I supposed to do? Because you don't know where you are in the movie. We were way up in the movie, in the script, and Bill had it, and he was rolling. It was so great to work with him because I was scared, because I had never worked with Bill. All I know that he was taller than me, and I was,
and that's going some.
He was darker than me, and I'm there. He gonna whoop my ass.
Proud of it.
And so we got in the, and that scene, that clip you saw there. The band would pick us up every morning at 6 o'clock with Helen Martin. Now you know this lady from Broadway and everything, right? And that's just going. That's my grandmama, right? That's my grandmother. So we were driving in the car for like 4 days, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there was another character in the car, and she says, "We've been going to work every day at 4 o'clock." She turned to the guy and said, "Who the fuck are you?" I said, "Oh my God!" I didn't know she cursed at all, but after that, better than Jennifer Lewis, cussing like Jennifer Lewis.
Wow.
That's a lot of cussing right there. But Bill, thank you so much. What a great movie. We enjoyed that, man, Stack, and everybody in the world enjoyed that. They still talk about that movie.
Thank you.
As a matter of fact, we were talking about it today, and now trying to pass this on to another generation of young people who may not be familiar with A Rage in Harlem, but still one of our very favorites, Bill. And if I'm not mistaken, was that your first theatrical film?
No,
A feature film?
no, there was one before that.
For that? Okay. Okay.
The Killing Floor.
Okay. The Killing
But was that considered a comedy? Was that a comedy? Wasn't that considered a comedy, Bill?
No, The Killing Floor. No, that was about the unions, black and white unions coming together.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. I was talking about A Rage in Harlem. That was totally comedy, right?
Yeah, like a dramedy, yes.
Yeah.
And,
I'm telling you, from the very beginning of just going over your career and things, and we were very lucky to have you on the cruise a few years ago talking about your documentary about dark girls and
yes.
and the book as well, and the way the audience just I mean they came, and it was like we were sitting at the feet of the oracle, because you have just so much wisdom and so much heart and encouragement for people. It was really quite exciting to see. And if I'm not mistaken, it was probably 20 years ago now that you guys worked on a movie together after 9/11, right?
Yes, we did. We did the Laughing in the Spirit, Living in the Spirit.
Yeah, Laughing in the Spirit. Yeah.
I'm trying to get that sold right now.
Are you really?
It's still there, and Bill wants it to go back up because in this time of the pandemic, and we're going through somewhat of the same situation, if not worse. It's time to bring lives together through laughter, through healing, and gospel. And it was the first time it had ever been done, laughter and gospel together.
Yes. It was beautiful. And if I'm not mistaken, my executive producer, my best friend Yolanda Starks-White, was the producer, one of the producers for that. And I just remember being in Atlanta and the spirit in the room as you guys were filming that. It was unbelievable. It really was. It was.
You remember that, Bill?
It was a great time. It really was a good time.
Yeah,
no,
and so needed now.
In the room. Now that's something Sybil doesn't go to church, so she doesn't know anything about this, Bill. But no, something happened. As the song says, something happened, and the Spirit filled that room because we had Yolanda Adams, we had Mississippi Mass Choir, and I think Sybil felt something that she'd never felt before, because we all did. When they came to rehearsal, we went, "Wait a minute, something is happening here in this room."
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we were dealing with 9/11, and oh my God, it was just such a great evening. And Bill, you want to talk a little more about that, what we did, how we put it together? Shirley Caesar, we had the great gospels.
It was incredible.
The Mississippi Mass Choir, Shirley Caesar, great comedians. It was, it was a
great comedians and George.
Yes.
She got jokes today, Bill. She got jokes.
But the thing is that for us, it was a healing process.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And we wanted to say, and also it was a time of division, but that bombing brought everybody together because we looked to our humanity, not our skin color or gender, but it put us all in the same human place.
That's right.
I mean, I was upset about it, but when I saw those people, when they had one of two choices, to be in that building and be burned by fire, or to jump from 30 stories or more and hope that they would survive, and they landed, and you heard the landing of that, it was heartbreaking.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't imagine needing something more today than we need, laughing and loving in the Spirit. As we are going through what we are going through. And I hope that you are able to sell that and to get it out to the people, because they need the heart and soul of Bill Duke and George Wallace, and sharing it with so much of us as we get with George every week. But certainly the work that you all have done. George, do you remember the first time you met Bill Duke?
I think it was at in Cincinnati at the, no, did I read for you, Bill, or did you just tell me to do the part?
The part.
He just told me to come do the part. And We did it in Sybil. It was amazing to work with these all of these black actors from. Oh my God, who's the guy on the floor? Come on, he's just on the floor.
Oh, Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker, are you kidding? And let me tell you, I was learning so much. I was scared, but I was learning at the same time because we had scenes where Forrest Whitaker had to be out of breath and tired to do it. This guy's a methodical actor, and I call him an idiot. I called him an idiot because he ran around the block to come back to do his scene so he could actually be tired and in the moment. Yes. I'm going, and then you get to stupid ass comedians. We go on and we say like, okay, action. You know, we just started. But Forrest Whitaker and what's the young lady's name that married Mike Tyson?
Robin Givens.
Robin Givens was there. We had from San Francisco. Who was that second star in the movie? Danny Glover.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Oh, we had some great people.
What's his name too? The dancer, singer.
Gregory Hines.
Gregory Hines.
That was a guy I was chasing during the whole movie. Goldie, you got one day, Goldie. And they wouldn't put this in the film at the time, but it was always one day, Goldie. I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna kick your ass.
You know, I was with one day at the lunch break. What's his name? Jeffrey Holder. What's his
Jeffrey Holder?
The dancer singer.
Yeah, Jeffrey Holder, the guy with the great voice, Jeffrey Holder. Yeah.
Yes, he dancer.
You're talking about Gregory Hines.
Gregory Hines. I'm sorry, Gregory Hines.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
And so we had lunch. He said, "Hey, Bill, I want to introduce you to somebody." I said, "Okay." So we go around the corner, and there's this little guy sitting with his head down on a bench around the corner. And Jeffrey said, "Hey, Bill, I want to introduce you to Sammy." It was Sammy Davis Jr.
Really?
Oh
my God!
I was speechless. I bowed. You know, it's like, and he was so gracious. He was so gracious. And
yes.
But Jeffrey and him were best of friends. And
wow.
That was his mentor.
That's really cool.
That's
really cool.
So, Bill, when you saw him, did you feel as though he was smaller than you thought?
George, hang on one second. George, hang on one second. We're going to move to your trending video, and then we'll come back and talk with Bill some more about these great people that he has met and worked with in his career. This is George Wallace's pick for our trending video of the day, and this involves the press conference of the new head coach, men's basketball coach for the University of North Carolina. Historic numbers in terms of him being the first Black coach to head UNC after the retirement of Roy Williams. His name is Hubert Davis, I believe, and let's hear a little bit of his press conference.
It is significant, Steve. It's significant that I'm African American and I'm the head coach here. It's significant. I know that in terms of Division I head coaches all around the country, only 26% of the head coaches for Division I men's basketball are compromised by minorities, specifically African Americans. I know that it is significant that I'm the fourth African American head coach in any sport in the history of the University of North Carolina. I'm very proud to be African American, but I'm also very proud that my wife is white, and I'm very proud that my 3 beautiful, unbelievable kids are a combination of both of us.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. Yeah. So he had us all going there for a second, didn't he? He had us really going. Yeah. I'm proud. I'm the African American. I'm like the number 1 in the history of North Carolina University, and I'm proud to be African American. Yes, and I'm also proud that I like eating white. I mean, I'm proud that I have. I love that vanilla ice cream. Where the hell did that come from? What the hell was?
It is so funny. Bill and George, people said that Hubert Davis had just the opportunity to have just the most basic white bread press conference ever, and then He made it into something, and it was just
Boom!
what?
It was a bomb. It was like looking at J. Anthony Brown's mama. It was a bomb. Just out of nowhere. Like, where the hell did that come? I'm proud that I have a white wife. He shouldn't have said shit. Excuse me, all the preachers that out there, because I got the bishop listening today. The bishop of Church of God in Christ, the new Bishop Charles Drew Sheard, and he doesn't know I cuss.
He knows now.
I hope he doesn't listen next week. But that was amazing. What did you think of that, Bill? Maybe you haven't seen it.
It's my first time seeing it, and I think you're right. He should have stuck to the subject.
I think it's one thing to say you're proud of your black queen, but then another is like I'm proud of I married a white woman, and and my children. I don't know. I'm interested to see what our viewers and our listeners have to say.
Well, I know one thing. I'm interested in that too, what the listeners have to say. But I do know all of the new professional basketball players are mixed. Most of them are coming up now. I don't know what
quite a few, yeah.
There are quite a few. Bill, when we grew up, everybody was dark like us, but now all of the basketball players, they're light-skinned. Is that how you pronounce the word?
Well, you named the sport, George. Yeah, the basketball, the football. I mean, look at Patrick Mahomes. He's a
look at Gonzalez. Everybody.
Gonzaga. Yeah.
My cousin said all them white boys. All them white boys. But something has happened. There's a trend happening. But I just thought that was very interesting, and I wanted to see that and what everybody else thought of he saying, "I'm proud of my white wife."
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess in order to go home that night, he had to say something, and so that's the way he chose to do it.
Their choices.
Everybody has to make choices.
She said,
"Are you a sports fan?
Huh?
Are you a sports fan?
Oh yes.
Are you like a Lakers man, or are you a New York football fan, or what?"
First of all, Lakers, Clippers.
Lakers, Clippers.
That's the same place, same building.
That's right. I appreciate Golden State, but Lakers, but the team that's going to really surprise everybody is Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. It's about time for New York.
They're putting together something that I don't know. I mean, they're gonna be pretty unbeatable. I mean,
yeah.
If all the players are healthy, they got a great bench. They got a great first team. They got some of the greatest players in basketball on that team. So we'll see what happens.
But they got to be really good, because my son LeBron James is still the man. He's still the man.
Man,
He's got the Lakers, Clippers. Yeah,
LeBron's the best.
Always.
Lakers.
Yeah. Now, in basketball, let me say this. Now, did you play basketball? Because in your bio, it says you're 6'4". I'm 6'5", and I look up at you when I'm talking. Somebody lying, Bill.
I'm 6'5".
I think we know who is.
4.5, 6'5". But the thing is, have you ever seen Charles Barkley play golf?
Yes, he can't play with a damn.
That's how I played basketball.
Oh. Damn, that's bad, man.
Oh, Myra J says, Myra J is listening and says that Bill Duke is a Bid Whist fan.
No. I keep Bid Whist.
Ooh.
You play me, you're gonna learn something. I'll beat you till you confess the things you didn't do.
Oh my goodness.
I'll beat the black off.
George?
Is that where you got that's where you got it from?
he just kept adding to his skin. He started out as a white man.
He says, I'll beat the black off you. Well, come on over. You got some beating to do. Come on over.
I'm ready. I'm telling you. I love Bid Whist.
That's awesome. That is awesome. You guys, we're going to take time out to talk a little bit about what's in the news. And George, I don't know if you told Bill about our What You Need to Know newsletter, but Bill, we have in In the tradition of Tom Joyner, we have created What You Need to Know newsletter. Every day, we curate stories that are of African American interest, and hopefully that it will be made useful to our African American readers. It is absolutely a free subscription, and we ask people who are watching us today, perhaps for the first time, to subscribe to our free newsletter. Please go to sybilwilkes.com, just like it says there on the screen, and or other side, sorry. And it's absolutely free. Give us your name and your email address, and we will have it in your email box every Monday through Friday morning. We've been talking.
That's 6:32.
Thank you.
You need to be informed and you need to be empowered. I did send it to him. I don't know whether he read it or not because he's busy beating the black off people, but I did send it to him.
That's right.
But one thing we have been talking about every day is watching the Chauvin trial, the murder trial, and the murder of George Floyd. And so we talk about that every day. And things that did not get into the newsletter are what happened today in terms of our president, Joe Biden. And he called gun violence in the U.S. an epidemic and unveiling executive actions and calling for a national red flag law. So he's directed the Justice Department to propose a rule within 30 days to help stop the proliferation of ghost guns. What are ghost guns? Those are those guns that people put together themselves. They make the gun, but doesn't have like the serial number and things on it, so they are able to get away without identification. And so very difficult to trace. Also directing the Department of Justice to craft a rule within 60 days that clarifies the point at which a stabilizing arm brace effectively turns a pistol into a short-barreled rifle. And they said the young man who killed people last week in the grocery store was one of those who had that. And so that rifle now becomes a short barrel rifle. And so they want to do away with those. And that is subjecting the firearm to additional regulations. He had 6 points along with his attorney general, as well as appointing a person to the alcohol firearms department. And he says that we don't need your prayers, we need action.
Exactly.
And in light of that, that came this afternoon. And that followed yesterday's horrific shooting of a family of 4, as well as an additional person. And this was in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And the person that has been named as the perpetrator of this crime, of a prominent doctor, his wife, his 2 grandchildren, and apparently an HVAC repairman at their home. And this young man is a former football player, professional football player. And so he is, and then he, as they were trying to get him to come out last night and to surrender, or at least to talk to them, this young man took his own life in his parents' home in South Carolina. And the gunman has been named as Philip Adams, former NFL player, was in the NFL for a few years and moved around. So all of this is coming in the wake of a number of mass shootings that we have had. And the president says he may not get any help from the United States Congress, from the House. He will get the support, but definitely not from the Senate. He doesn't expect to. And so he's taking these executive actions in order to do it. So I give you that news and then move on to talking about the Derek Chauvin trial, which was very compelling today in that they had video of from a doctor who specializes in lung therapy and what happens with our lungs, pulmonologist. Thank you, George. And so he gave a play-by-play, moment-by-moment on video of George Floyd taking his last breaths. We have seen this 9 minutes and 29 seconds, but he slowed it down to the point where it's like, here, and that's his last breath. That was true. I mean, having seen this, and you don't become hardened to what has happened on this video and what has happened to this man and his family, as well as the people that were there to see it. But to see it, as he just points out, how Chauvin is wedging his leg and his knee and where it is on his body, and then you see on the video as he's like boom, 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 and that is his last breath. That is heartbreaking. But I think that is effective. with the jury, because he even loosened his tie, took his shirt, unbuttoned it, and said, here, feel here. And this is where the important part of the body that is really affected by what he was doing to this man. And so I don't know how people get that out of their heads as they go on. But I got to say, Bill Duke and George, the prosecution has been putting together a masterful presentation.
Bill, you want to talk about that? Because I have nothing to say, because I know what I saw, and I believe what I saw, and I believe there's a possibility that the guy could still walk. I believe there's a possibility. Yeah. I don't know whether money is involved, but I believe there's a possibility that one person, through some way, somebody can get to that one person to hold back. And I hope we don't go crazy, but this is going to be tough. I hope he doesn't walk. Let me put it like that.
Yeah.
I hope.
What do you think, Bill?
I think that when I hear the defense and look at what they're saying, it's like what they're really saying to us is, don't believe your lying eyes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The lying eyes, right?
And
what the defense is just trying to get is convinced that one person, that there's a possibility that maybe he did die on overdose of drugs. Maybe it was heart failure. But we know, it, like the doctor said, it was the knee. It was the knee in the person. But maybe that one person just might want to hold out. Just maybe that one person is a racist.
You never know, We hope that somehow people's humanity is touched by what happened to this man.
Mm-hmm.
They keep pointing to his flaws, his drugs, his history in terms of being arrested, those kinds of things. I mean, we're not talking about his past.
Exactly.
We should be talking about the moment of his death.
The moment.
Mm-hmm.
And was that justified?
Right.
But the defense is bringing up his past and all of those things. And I'm hoping to God that the jury is filled with enough people that care about Floyd's humanity.
Yeah.
So that there is justice. But it's hard to tell now. You don't know.
Yeah. You just don't know. You don't.
You don't know. I'm glad you can keep smiling to say that, Sybil, because it's hard to smile.
It is, George, and I'm not surprised by the number of people that I talk to on a regular basis who are not watching, and just say, I've seen the video. I don't need to see anything else. And also a reminder that as we have been saying, George, he just needs one person. He needs one person, and this is a jury of his peers.
Did I hold up the right finger?
George, let's talk about your mayor, Lance Bottoms. She has issued an administrative order in her fight for voting rights. So despite what the governor has signed and put into place, as well as the Republican-led Senate, the battle over the new voting right laws continues, and she is trying to soften the blow of the state's more restrictive law. And so your Atlanta mayor issued an administrative order this week directing the city's chief equity officer to implement a series of actions against this Bill 202. Her office says these actions will work to expand access to the ballot box and ensure every Atlanta resident can exercise their right to vote. Despite what is in the law now, they are saying that she is making way for the voting restrictions that disproportionately impact Atlanta residents, particularly in the communities of color, that this administrative order will do what those in the majority of the state legislature did not, expand access to their right to vote. And so they're talking about training staff members on voter registration and general information about early and absentee voting and in-person voting, giving information on how to obtain the ID needed for absentee voting. So she has really done the work and saying, there's more than one way to skin this cat named Brian Kemp and all of those who have tried to restrict our voting and access to the polls. So Kudos to her for doing.
She's coming through. She's coming through. She's doing it.
And instead of saying, well, what are we going to do? This is what the conversation we were having in our production meeting. Well, what do we do? And she's saying, I'll show you what we do. And so here we are. And what I'm doing is not something that mayors all over this state can't do, or all over this country can't do, in light of these new restrictive laws that are coming about. Are you political in that way, Bill? And are you taking an interest in this?
Well, I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I'm an independent.
Mm-hmm.
I was very interested in seeing the impact that major corporations are having, because they didn't say, let's march on the street. The people that are heading this effort, they went to Coca-Cola, they went to the major gaming folks and said, look, this is not right. And if you do not speak up about it, it's going to be detrimental to your pocketbook.
Exactly.
And that's a very interesting and fascinating approach.
Yes, it is.
Because there was no emotion involved. It was all business.
It's business. That's right.
And so it's interesting to see how folks withdrew from, the games, and corporations are speaking up now. So we're going to see how this goes from an economic perspective. I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Because
it's going to work. If you hit them in the pockets, eventually they'll come around. That's what happened with Rosa Parks. It took a year that we didn't ride the buses over there in Birmingham, but eventually it came around. We're missing money. People can't get to work. People can't get to clean the houses. Whatever the jobs were back in the day, it did work. Boycotting did work, and it will work again. And we're going to do this thing. You watch and see. All they got to do is just drink more Pepsi. That's all they need to hear. That's all they need to hear. Go to Lowe's.
It blew my mind. I still don't understand it, that you cannot bring water or food to someone standing in line for hours.
Yeah.
What was the rationale behind that? I don't understand.
They say that the people who do it have an opportunity to do some politicking. Say, while you're handing out, don't forget to vote for my person here, or don't forget to, pass this particular municipal option or whatever. So that is what they said.
My biggest tweet ever, over 8 million impressions this week. 8 million impressions says, I'm gonna give out all the damn water I want to give out. Okay, smart water, sparkling water, whatever kind of water, vitamin water, muddy water, whatever. I'm gonna hide it in the bushes with sweet tea. But listen, that's crazy. What we're going to do, it didn't say anything about buying water. What if a truck can pull up, you can buy the water. It didn't say anything about that, did it?
Right.
So there's some rules we can break. We're going to have a slutty vegan pull up here.
That's right. That's right.
Mr. Softy pull up here. Have all of these people so you can buy all of your stuff. I almost said a bad word. But that's going to be thrown out. I think the courts are going to throw that out. So,
but don't you gentlemen think that it's interesting how the Republican politicians are responding to this and talking to the people like Coca-Cola and Home Depot and all of this, and saying, don't get involved in politics. Now, they don't mind taking the money from these people for their political action committees, for their campaigns, but they do have a problem in them pulling rank and saying, we're not going to participate until you all take another look at this bill.
Was that the man with the big chin? What's the man with the big chin that hangs all the way down to the floor? Yeah, that's one that says don't get involved. But that's what you do every day. You get involved with their businesses. The Republicans know that.
Take their money.
The Republicans know that it's over. It's over. We got this thing together. Stacey Abrams has put something together now. It's over. They can have voting from 8 to noon. We're going to kick your ass no matter what. That's the bottom line. So they're doing everything they can to just stop us. And you'll see something in the next 15 years changes. All Texas is going to go blue. Georgia's going to go blue. Mississippi going to go blue. South Carolina, because these young kids, they know Black Lives Matters, Black Voters Matters. The young Asians matter. They're really getting involved in politics now. And Hispanics matter. So we're going to change this, and we need more smart people in office like AOC. What's her name?
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
But she was talking about the two point some $billion. She says we need 10 billion. You want to know something? That's the truth.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing that in 1 year. We need that in infrastructure, but we need $10 billion. We need to think ahead. We need to get it done. We need some smart young people. I said it before, Bill. You never heard me say this before, but I'm saying tonight. What's wrong with America? Too many old, rich, white men. Take a look at Congress and see what you got there. Doesn't matter where it is. Too many old, rich, white men. And we're going to change this thing. We got these young voters coming in. We got these young candidates coming in. It's going to be a big change. 2022. You'll see a major difference. And I already got my billboards made. Brian Kemp, you're next. You're next. Stacey Adams is going in.
That's nice. Now, the really interesting thing, Bill and George, is that Stacey Adams is not a proponent of, I'm sorry, Stacey Adams. Did I say Stacey Adams? I'm sorry. Thinking about George's shoes. Stacey Abrams is not a proponent of the boycotts. What do you think, George?
She's smart to say that because she doesn't want to. Some of the small businesses are going to be hurting, you know. But in the long run, it does pay. And I don't expect it when the courts come in. I think everything's going to be okay. The money will come back to Atlanta. The All-Star game, all of that. It'll come back to Atlanta later. But some people are being hurt. But that's what we have to do. How many people were hurt? How many people were killed when Dr. King was marching? John Lewis. Were you talking about hurt? I went down to the F.W. Woolworth and sat at the counter. Heard. How about the bulldogs and the water hose on the people back in, so we can be where we are today? Heard. Somebody's going to be hurt, but she's smart. She knows how to say the right thing. That's all I got to say about that. Whatever Stacey says, I go along with it.
Okay. All right. I just think it's interesting, and I think you do have to play both sides of the field in order to get what you want sometimes.
She needs to do that because she's going to get those Republican voters later. If she says what I'm thinking right now, she won't get those Republican voters. She's smarter than we are.
Dora Lavette Tiggs on Facebook says she'll have a different strategy. And so that is worthy of, she says, to give them a chance to reform first. Joe Robinson, the third on YouTube. So let's give her a chance.
Somebody's name was the third?
No, it was Joe Robinson the third.
Watch out for people with the third. All the people with the third on the name, watch out for them, okay? Watch out for them. They're crazy.
Okay. All right. George Wallace the third.
And then you got Pink Elephant.
Pink Elephant, 26 Armstrong. So you got to break some eggs to make a cake.
Come on! Pink Elephant. Who said that?
Pink Elephant. Pink Elephant, 26.
Oh my God! You got to break some eggs to make a cake. How about that?
Let me tell you about our social justice story. We have a youngin, a social activist on our staff here, Bill Duke, and talking about this. Purvis Payne is the man's name. He's 54 years old, death row inmate, African American. He's been granted a temporary reprieve by the Tennessee Governor Bill Lee, which is set to expire midnight, April 10th. Today's the 8th. At that time, Tennessee Supreme Court will regain authority to set another execution date if they choose to do so. Mr. Payne has maintained his innocence since 1988 for the death row conviction for the stabbing deaths of a young woman, a 28-year-old woman, and her 2-year-old daughter. Her 3-year-old son, who was stabbed multiple times, survived the attack, and they are white. Mr. Payne, as I said, is a Black man. He is intellectually disabled and testified he was responding to cries for help from his girlfriend's neighbor when he found them. And the witnesses, including Payne, testified that an unknown man was seen running from the apartment before he entered the apartment. And they say that the prosecution is saying that he was under the influence of drugs. This is another case in which
he was also under the influence of being Black. Back in the day, if they said you did it, you did it.
Right. Yeah. And we're seeing, I mean, almost every day now, if not every week, we're seeing cases of Black men who were unjustly convicted and are getting out of jail and getting out of prison. And it's still disturbing, but you know, it's happening more and more.
Some Black men are being executed also.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Unjustly. Absolutely.
So that's one group I like to give my money to, Sybil, that coalition.
Innocence Project?
Yes, I like that. Going in and looking at these cases. Matter of fact, there was a movie done. It was Selma. Is that what Selma was about? What was the movie that Tyler Perry did?
Oh no, it was the Brian Stevenson story that Michael B. Jordan
was there, yeah. And
played Brian Stevenson.
And my guy, what was I just doing a TV show with?
I don't know, but I do have a question of the day for you, George.
Question of the day.
Yes.
And you give me question of the day, I'm gonna give you answer of the year.
Okay, good. And I think you'll appreciate this, Bill Duke. And because this is your life, George. This is who you are, and this embodies you. What makes you laugh, Bill Duke? What makes you laugh, George Wallace? And so let's go to the video.
You asking me?
Oh, hang on one second. We'll take this.
Hey, I'm gonna cover you up. Here we go. Don't move. Let's make them invisible on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And Jonathan is now a believer. You ready? No. All right, here we go. I'm gonna cover you up. Invisible on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. They did not vanish. You cannot see them or hear them. Let me show you what I mean here. With your right hand, I want you to grab this can. I feel you. Don't let go. I got it. There we go. Perfect. Nice holding on to it. That's perfect. I'm gonna grab it. Jonathan, we can't see you or hear you, but will you just grab the can? Yeah, there we go. And now for the fun part. Shoot, I'm sorry. This will just take 1 minute. I'll bring, it's an emergency. Hey, it's Justin. I'm sorry.
Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Oh my God.
Okay, let me see. Oh man, it's just a freaking thing. No one's saying that wine is so cool.
It must be a trick floor.
So I ask you, gentlemen, do pranks like that make you laugh? What makes you laugh? Bill Duke?
What makes me laugh?
Well, maybe I should ask you, did that make you laugh?
Yeah. But what makes me laugh are great comedians like George Wallace. And the funniest things to me are the truth.
Yeah.
There are the things that we think and don't have the courage to say. The great comedians like George Wallace, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, and other great comedians.
My two favorite.
They say the things that we think and don't have the courage to say.
Right.
And that to me is funny. It connects me to the material because I wish I had the courage to say it sometimes, but they get up there and take a chance, and I could never be. I mean, I have friends that are comedians. I don't know how you all do it, George. I've seen friends of mine get up on the stage, they tell a joke, and nobody responds or laughs. And then they try to be funnier, and it goes downhill from there. I don't know how you all do it, man. I'm serious, man.
Well, that's the process too when you're up there telling a joke if it doesn't work. Now, that's funny about my head. If I do a joke that doesn't work, now I kind of like that because I got to make this shit work now. So I'm kind of like, did you remember Johnny Carson being on the Tonight Show? His funniest jokes was the joke that did not work. And he would go, well, okay. So sometimes I've had the thing that says, I'll do the joke. I said, I'm going to do that joke again. You know, I'm known for going on stage with this legal pad and try out a joke. If the joke works good, I write works real good. If the joke needs work, I write needs work. If the joke is funny, I'll say joke's funny, audience sucks. And they love that. So but that magic didn't make me laugh because magic doesn't make me laugh because I'm a grown ass man, Cedric the Entertainer will say. I know you fool. You did something to fool me somewhere, but I know you didn't make nobody disappear. I ain't no fool. I ain't no fool. So it's something with some mirrors or something that they do all kinds of crazy stuff, you know. And then Penn and Teller are known for showing you how the trick works here. So I think it's enjoyable. It's entertainment. So, and if they can excite a lot of people, I watched. I enjoyed it. But it doesn't make me laugh. What makes me laugh is talking stupid and saying stupid stuff and saying stuff you're not supposed to say. You know, like.
And does it make you laugh that you make a living out of that and a very good living?
Sybil, I am the most blessed person in the world. I can't tell you how good God is to me. How many people God has blessed to just for a person like me and Bishop Sheard, if you listen right now, Bishop Blake, all of y'all, and they know what I do. I just lie. I love to lie. I just love to make up shit. You know, I was watching TV today, and Tide said Tide is now 50% stronger than it used to be. I'm going, well, 5 years ago, we must have been using some real shit. So how they just I just watch everything. Everything is a lie. It doesn't matter in church, how people cuss in church. And I'm watching everything. You know, I'm watching communion. I'm watching everything they do in church. It's a lie. You know, just like closing your eyes in prayer. My mom used to say, everybody close your eyes in prayer. My mom used to look at me and say, close your eyes, boy. When you close your own damn eyes, how the hell you know?
How you know I'm not?
How you know I'm not, right?
Yeah.
You take those simple things like that and you just make it the truth. And you just, my formula is ABC or 1, 2, AB3 or 1, 2, C. You take the truth and you put a twist at the end. Anything is funny. And I love all the comedians, young comedians. We're going to have more comedians on here with me. We got Coco Brown coming on with us pretty soon. And Ralph Harris is coming on. And we got Ron G coming on, some of the young people that are really making us laugh. And this old comedian, whatever, I just love good laughter. I love everybody except Miss Butterbean Brown boy.
Right, of course. But you love her son.
I love her son nuts.
Okay. And we're talking to the hotter than a mofo. Okay.
Hotter than a mofo.
You guys, I want to close this out, gentlemen.
Wait a second, are we finished already?
No, George, we have a few minutes left, and I do want to give you some time to talk, but I do want to talk about, everybody's talking about the verses. Have you been watching the verses competitions, or actually the staging of one musical group against another, Bill?
I haven't seen it, no.
Okay, so this last Sunday, Easter Sunday, they had Earth, Wind, and Fire versus the Isley Brothers and their hits. You know, they had 20 hits going up against each other, right? But it's been something that has started during the pandemic and during our quarantine. Yes. And so it has generated millions of views, people watching on their Instagram accounts and on, setting it up on their televisions or what have you. And it's really brought families and generations together, because there are a lot of these versus groups, right, George, in which they have older artists. And so those that are really going to watch it don't know how to use Instagram or to put it on their computer screen or whatever. So it's brought people together in terms of that. But I really
thought it was awesome, Sybil. I thought it was awesome. But the funniest thing about, I'm saying here again, I'm looking at funny. The funniest thing I heard about versus was I was watching a show last night called Sybil Wilkes Live, and they couldn't say what they wanted to say. About who should have been the host.
Yeah.
They couldn't say what they wanted to say, but
it was hosted by Steve Harvey this week.
Oh, okay.
And it was I would like to have seen our friend Stephen Hill host it.
That's what you said.
And I said it. Yeah, I did say it. But it was really great, Bill, to see Earth, Wind, and Fire and Ron and Ernie Isley there. And
how could you go wrong?
The greatest conversation was about the music, but number two was the swagger of Mr. Ron Isley and how good he looked.
Exactly.
And so a lot of people of multiple generations talking about that. So it was
one question, Sybil. Who are we going to put when we got Stevie Wonder? Who's going to verse?
I said Lionel Richie.
Stevie Wonder?
I couldn't think of anybody who has the number? I know Stevie Wonder has more.
I think we should have Stevie Wonder on with glasses and Stevie Wonder without glasses versus himself.
So that brings me to my question, George. If they had a versus for comedians, what do you think? Who would you like to see?
Oh my God, there's just so many. There's a kid named Tony Roberts. We had him on the cruise, I think. Tony Roberts, and
he's funny.
And he's out of your hometown, Godfrey. Tony Roberts and Godfrey.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Godfrey is one of the best comedians ever, and not enough people know about him. But the funniest people, he's doing okay. He loves what he's doing, and he's making enough money to be happy at what he's doing. It's not always.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's not always necessarily good to be number one. There's a lot of problems come along with being on top of the mountain. As we see what happened with Richard Pryor, as we see what happened with Dr. Martin Luther King, Prince. People on top of the mountain, there's a lot of luggage comes along with it. So as long as I always say, as long as you're on your way up the mountain, look at me. I don't care. I never cared about making all the money in the world. I'm probably the most, as far as I'm concerned, I'm the most successful guy out there. I do what I want to do. I go where I want to go. I'm happy. Enough people know me to satisfy my little ego, and I'm good. I'm so blessed because all I do is lie. I just make up shit. That's all I do. So comedian-wise, there's so many great comedians out there, from Cedric the Entertainer to some of the young guys. Like I mentioned Ron G. We had a guy on our show 2 weeks ago that's really, really, LeVar Walker. Was he great? Alonzo Bowden. Oh my God, these young comedians are killing it.
Yeah.
Hey, Sybil. Sybil,
yes, sir.
Unfortunately, I got to leave in a few minutes, but you got any final questions?
Yes, sir. Because I wanted to talk about your new projects, what you're working on, because you have a long list of things, and we know and love you from Rage in Harlem to A Menace to Society and all of that. But now you're working on some things that are very timely, aren't you?
And you got a book.
Yes, a couple of things. A movie's coming out, and I'm in with Matt Damon and Don Cheadle in a couple of months, called No Sudden Move, and directed by the great Steven Soderbergh. And that's coming out. I have a network I'm starting called Unite Network, because you hear all the negative news that's happening in the world. This network is going to talk about the positive things that are happening around the world. It's called Unite, to bring people together. I have...
and that's going to be by the summer, you're hoping?
By mid-June.
Yeah, okay.
Also, I have a book of my poetry that's coming out, The Invisible Man. And I have a short animated film called The Journey, which is the journey that we all go through in life. So that's coming out in a couple of months. There's a lot of different things that are going on.
How can we follow you on Twitter and I'm assuming other forms of social media? And how can we get more information about Unite?
The Unite Network is going to be up in June, and I'm putting on some PR people. So in the next 2 weeks, there'll be a lot of information out there.
Okay.
My last question: Can you come back with us again?
Yes, we'd love to.
Wonderful, thank you.
Oh, Bill, it has been such a joy to talk to you. I really appreciate you, and really appreciate your time. But I appreciate your humanity. You are an incredible man, and I thank you for sharing so much of your spirit and your heart and your creativity with the world.
And when I brought up your name, Bill, they went.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Well, I love you both. It's a great show. I love the show.
Thank you so much.
Love to come back, and God bless you both. Okay.
We'll have you back. We'll have you back soon. Okay. God bless you. We love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Bless your heart, now. Take care. All right, George Wallace. Thank you for that. That's awesome.
Is he great or what?
Awesome.
We didn't even come close to asking him what we want to ask him. There's so many questions, and next time we'll let the audience throw questions in there, because he's done so much directing, promoting, humanitarian.
Yeah. So George, let me ask you about your relationship with Bill Duke, because like you said, starting with A Rage in Harlem, and all of the various projects, I wanted to ask him, because you both have worked with now, and you are in the process of working with the great Norman Lear. But I believe that Bill was in a TV series when I was a kid called Palmerstown, USA. And that was a Norman Lear and Alex Haley production.
Really?
Yeah, with Michael J. Fox. And that was like one show my mom would let me watch. So, I was just wondering about, your both your relationships with Norman Lear. Where are you with that, by the way?
My relationship with Norman Lear is we're right in the middle of talking with the studio and with the distributor, and we're ready to go. And we're ready to go in September. Look,
There's your script.
That's my script. We talked to Laverne today, and she loved it. It's going to be just like if you're from the South, if you're from the hood, okay? I'm her daddy. We're going to be in Mobile, Alabama. It's going to be just like I own a car wash. I'm just driving down the streets. It's going to be so simple and just so commanding love from living and let live. Just simple guy riding down the street, just blowing the horn. Hey, Eloise, come and get my car. I see you, yo, goat. Just blow the horn and just keep running. You just keep rolling, and then I get involved with Laverne.
And then you go home one day, and there's a knock at your door.
Yeah, I knew he was coming home, but I didn't know she was coming home. And so we get a lot of argument there, and it's going to be a lot of educating and a lot of learning. And we're going to get into the Black church, into the community, and we're going to learn how to let people live the way they want to live. So that's what it's all going to be about. And it's going to be kind of awesome. You guys are really great last night. You touched on a subject that we're going to get into later. Again, you were talking about how you're going to live. Most of us, I was listening to us last night, and I don't know whether it's us radio people or television people, how there may be something wrong with us, but we love entertainment more than we do companionship, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of, is that what it is, Sybil? We love entertainment.
I think so, George. I really do. I absolutely do believe that.
There's nothing better. The worst thing you could ever hear one of us say, if we were to come home and somebody says, "Where you been?"
or why don't you talk to me? It's the way you talk to your friends or you at work, and it's like I've been talking all.
That hurts already. You hear that already, right? It's just like, no, I'm doing what I need to do, and people need to understand that. Like Myra J was on last night, and Stephen. I don't know whether he's single or not, but Jay Anthony Brown. All of us are crazy single people, and we just love. We love our work. We have a passion for talking to a mass of people. One person can't do it for us. That's the answer.
Yeah, that's kind of sad but true, George.
One person cannot do it for us. We need
George, before we leave, I do want to give. Oh shoot, that's not it.
Did you say shoot?
Shoot. I said shoot.
Shoot is a good word because I'm changing. I'm going to stop cussing. You already know I use Waka Flocka instead of the mofo, and then I'm changing. I'm going to start. I don't like to use the B word, so I'm going to call everybody. Did you what I was talking to, Butch? Some of you Butch.
It's time for Yogi's Jewels and the Daily Inspiration.
Yogi's Jewels. It better be a good one. It better be a good one. I can tell you that right now.
It's a great one.
It better be. Yes.
If you see someone without a smile, give them yours.
Now that's the best one. That's the best one I've ever heard.
Said George Wallace. Thank you, George Wallace. We appreciate
and I believe that. Keep laughter in your life. If you can't even fake a smile without feeling better.
That's right. That's right. You're absolutely right. And we cannot thank you enough for all that you do for us.
Well, thank you so much.
Yolanda said you have one thing. Laughter is like a windshield wiper. It doesn't stop the rain, but allows us to keep going. All right,
that's my tweet of the week. That's my tweet of the week. Laughter is like a windshield wiper. Isn't that great? Keep it. And we got Bull Twit. We need more people to sign on Twitter. You want some funny stuff? Go to Twitter. We make you pee from your eye. At Mr. George Wallace. Pee from your eye at Mr. George Wallace. And the book is still going crazy. And we had to order another 10,000. So we need you to order that book, georgewallace.net. But you need to laugh. I moved to a new location, so I don't have the book with me. But thank you for holding it. Bull Twit. That's a whole lot of bull twit and whatnot. Thank you so much. And don't forget, and my love for you does not require your permission.
There's another genius one. Okay. All right, George, thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend in your new undisclosed location. Bye, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.
Bye-bye.
He can tell you about the first dance, but he can't remember my name. I'm his daughter.
Half of all black families are impacted by Alzheimer's, but we don't know why. At HSC, we are investing in a new research study to find solutions for your family. To join the research study, visit blackalzbrainstudy.com or call 817-735-2963.